Hello ma'am, so today I'll be presenting on the topic 10 ways to get non-readers interested into reading. Moving on, so these are the content table of this is the table of content which we'll go through in this presentation. Okay, so before really discussing strategies for reading, we will discuss why should we actually read. Of course, a very evident answer to this question is that because it expands our knowledge, it enhances our knowledge, it exposes us to various new information, various new ideas and perspectives, and it helps us to understand the world in a better way, in a better manner, whether through fiction or non-fiction or even newspapers and stuff like that. Reading is something which can introduce us to new concepts, and they not only build our general knowledge but even our critical thinking, our way of analyzing various things. It deepens and it becomes more and more analytical, and of course, along with that, it encourages our imagination and creativity. The scope of our imagination, the scope of the limit to which our mind can think, it increases, because of course we are exposed to various different standpoints and perspectives and lenses through various different writers in various different kind of genres, and thus it adds up to the level of our creativity. Of course, it also improves our vocabulary, language skills, communication skills, because the more we read, the more words we encounter, and this enhances our vocabulary along with our writing and speaking abilities. Along with that, it also, yes, it does offer entertainment and stress relief. It's the people who like to read, it's also a kind of a hobby to them. They do enjoy reading, and it's not just merely because they want to improve their communication skills, their language or vocabulary, or they want to deepen their thought process and their perceptions, but it's also because they enjoy reading. Reading can be considered to be a habit, a passion, a hobby, and it does build empathy and emotional intelligence. Empathy in the sense because as we read, we get to know various characters, um, we get to live the journey of a particular character along with the character in the course of reading a particular book or story, and thus it we kind of start feeling what the character is feeling, we start experiencing what the character is undergoing, and thus it kind of creates a sense of empathy um, with the character, because we start living the life of the character while reading the particular novel or book. Moving on. Now, challenges faced by non readers when they actually want to read, when they actually want to build this habit of reading. The very first thing is lack of interest or motivation. They may not have that kind of, they may not be wanting, they may not be liking the concept of reading, they may be lacking the interest which is required in reading, because reading is not a one day process, but it's actually something which requires patience, and which is a gradual process. It's not an achievement, but it's a journey, right? So most of the people may find it difficult to gather, to summon up the interest and the motivation to read. There may also be difficulty in finding the right material for the person, because as the person might have not read anything before that particular point of time, the person may not know what should he or she start with, what material would actually engage him or her into the beginning of his or her journey. um, the perception of reading as boring or difficult, it's kind of similar as the first one, because the person may have a preconceived notion that reading is something which is very challenging for me, or uh, I may not fit into the characteristics of a particular reader, or it may be very boring. I may not enjoy reading. I would rather watch a movie, because it's reading. Even the person may think that reading is time consuming, because many people find it difficult to dedicate time to reading, especially with a busy schedule filled with work, family commitments, and other responsibilities. So the person might prefer movies over reading, which is like 2 hours long or 3 hours long, and it just ends. So it does not really take in that much of time as reading does, or as a book does. um, Competing distractions, of course, in especially in today's generation, in this digital age, there are constant distractions from smartphones, social media, and other forms of entertainment like TV, video games. So even these things do consume time, and it can make it hard to focus on reading for people, especially for those who are not used to it, and they are used to distractions and technology on the other place on the other hand. So, and limited time, as we already discussed, because people are having really busy schedule these days. So it's actually very difficult for them to make time for getting into something which is not a one day achievement, which is a process, a very gradual process, and which requires commitment and consistency as well. Now, moving on, we have the key strategies. Now, here in this presentation, I have listed 10 strategies which I personally feel can help non-readers get into reading, because I myself have been somebody who is not fond of reading much, but these are a few things which helped me get into reading. Okay, so starting off, begin with your passion. So it's very important that when we start reading, or when we start something, anything in life, it should be something which we enjoy, something which does not bore us, and only then will we continue to do that particular thing. So applies on reading. If you start reading something which, some kind of a genre which you don't enjoy, even in other works, even in films and other things, how will you enjoy it while reading? And especially when you are starting off, so you should start off with something which you like, with you enjoy, and which you think you can carry on, you can be consistent with. So start with genres based on your movies and shows which you like, which you enjoy, and you feel like it would be entertaining and engaging for you. Next up, we have graphic novels and comics. So, reading these large books with numerous pages, a 500 pages book or a 300 pages book, I think starting off with something like that would be really tiring and boring as well, and would be really threatening and intimidating at the first sight. So I feel that we should start with something that is more comforting and that is more enjoyable, rather than disconcerting things. So starting off with something like a graphic novel or some comic books or some mangas, because these things are not just these things are not just pieces of literature or literary works, but these are also visually engaging. So this might draw our attention towards them, and we may find an increasing interest into things like these. So we can start with something like graphic novels and comics, then audiobooks, especially in today's generation, as we have already mentioned, the challenge of limited time. Audiobooks are something which will help. As we all know what audiobooks are, in first place, audiobooks are recorded versions of books. We can just put an AirPod in our ears, and we can just listen to the entire story while doing our other stuff and our daily routines and other course which we are having. So I think audiobooks is a great option for people who are apt in multitasking, and for people who prefer listening over reading, because that can develop an interest into reading as well later on. Technology, as today we are having e-readers and Kindle, so if we are not if we are not ready to buy books and stuff like that, because that might seem boring to us, we can start some technological things like Wattpad, Kindle, and even we are having social networking sites and platforms um, where we can socialize with people, where we can find according to our choices what should we read, and according to the recommendations of other people and their rating for a particular piece of literature. So networking with people, socializing with people will kind has the ability, has the capability of generating interest in our own self as well. So we can try such social networking sites along with things like e-readers and Kindles, who have this feature of adjusting font sizes and stuff like that, so that might be helpful. Short and engaging stories, again, starting off with something very large and very verbose might be challenging and intimidating, and short stories often are something that they are not so overwhelming, they are not so time consuming, so feel we may find them very light, and thus they are also fast paced narratives, so we can enjoy them while starting off. Make it a social activity, as I've already said, that socializing and discussing it with your friends, or participating in stuff like book clubs where people come, they discuss about a particular book and stuff like that, that might help us to get into reading on a daily basis, and that might help us make it a social activity which even we will enjoy, because we are discussing it with people who have similar choices, who have similar interests, and that's why it would be easy for us when we discuss, when we have conversations regarding the particular book or the particular, or whatever we feel. We can just read a book, we can just read a story, and we can derive our own perception, our own understanding of the story, and we can share it with our friends, and that may seem enjoyable. Reading games, now there are, we in this generation, in this digital age, technology has made everything so easy and so engaging. We are having reading games wherein we are having challenges and streaks which we have to fulfill, and then we earn rewards for the same. So these friendly competitions and these healthy and constructive competitions can shape our habit of reading, then can shape up our habit of reading, and can make us more interested because of those challenges, and in order to fulfill those challenges we might get into reading on a regular basis. So this might also be helpful. Adaptations, of course, we can go for, if we like it, like for somebody like me who loves watching movies, it is very it's very much helpful when you watch a movie and then you read an adaptation, because then it's very much easy to understand that adaptation, especially when you are a novice in the field. So it's very much easier for you to form that perception through the characters of the movie, or through the different strands of the storyline, and attaching them with the book and the novel. So adaptations kind of formulate a preconceived notion in your mind that you can rely on when you read the actual novel. So it's especially I'm talking about the faithful adaptations, so it's very much easy. Like, for example, I watched the um, National Theatre's live adaptation of Frankenstein, and then I read the novel, and it gave me a very clear cut perspective that what should I expect from the novel after watching the particular play, which was of course in form of it was a recorded version of play which was broadcasted live, so it's like a movie only. So it's like it formulated my mindset that what should I expect from the particular novel, what should I expect from the particular book, and that made it really easy for me to understand. And I actually found it very enjoyable to read the book afterwards. Reading environment. Now, environment is something which matters a lot when it comes to building any kind of habit. Any habit, be it reading habit or be it the habit of waking up early in the morning. When it comes to reading, you should build a very calm environment wherein you can find yourself and the characters and the plot line and nothing else, and you can actually engage into the particular book. You can actually get into that world, get into the world of the book, and then experience everything as if it's happening right in front of your eyes. That would be very much artistic, and that would really um, help you relieve your personal stress and tension, and find reading as an escape from the everyday stuck in a rut situation of lifestyle. And of course, celebrate small wins. Do celebrate small wins, even if you complete reading a particular page, or say set of 5 pages or set of 10 pages. Do reward yourself, because you are in a journey to achieve something, and this is a journey which is very long to go. So celebrating small wins will make you feel um, content and satisfied with your diligence and your hard work which you did in order to reach that particular place, even if they are small, even if they are very small achievements and stuff like that. Even then it's very much beautiful, and it's very much required for our hard work, to celebrate that hard work and that achievement. So in conclusion, we can I can only say that of course reading is a journey, it's not a one day process. So we must have patience, we must be positive throughout the process, and we must have a pressure free environment. So patience, positivity, and a pressure free environment are the three P's which are required to start off our journey of reading. And do celebrate small wins. And then there's a very beautiful quote by Frederick, that once you learn to read, you will be forever free. So it's kind of in my interpretation, it's kind of empowerment through knowledge, or the part of knowledge. Um, that education can be a tool of empowerment and freedom. So yeah, and had it been a class presentation, I would have also discussed the strategies of the various of my fellow classmates and my colleagues on how, what is their strategy, what has been their strategy which has worked for them in order to build reading as a habit. And I would have wanted them to share their thoughts and the challenges faced by them in fostering a love for reading. So thank you very much.